Hello everyone, this is Christian Anderson here, and a reviewer extraordinaire, and today I'm accompanied by my dove,
Hannah.
and today we're going to be discussing about 3 topics here. We are going to be reviewing RPG, discussing an upcoming movie license game, and the ESRB. So let's jump right into it. So the game on the question here is GreedFall, developed by Spiders, who is a very small development team, possibly less than 100 people made this game. So, first impressions, what did you think of the game when you first saw it?
Made by less than 100 people. I would say every person that's working on that team is so talented. It is beautiful. The lighting, the colors, everything pops and it has so much depth. I say artistically wise, it's very pretty.
Yeah, I love the style of the game. It's based off of earlier colonial times, pilgrims and natives and stuff like that. And it just makes the game stand out. I love it. It's like games like Dragon Age. They takes the generic RPG where it's just dragons, elves,
Castles,
dwarves.
Stuff.
It's not really interesting. But here, GreedFall is a breath of fresh air because it's so different from the rest. Now, that would mean nothing if the story wasn't any good.
Well, yeah, because usually it's the story is what people are most interested in. And then, well, of course, game mechanics, the way it looks, and also the characters.
So, yeah, and I'm happy to report that the overall story, even though I haven't completed it yet, maybe like halfway through, it's good. It is good. It's interesting to keep you engaged. There are problems in there which we will get to, but let's start with the good of the story, then we'll jump into the negatives. A quick plot synopsis of the game, of GreedFall, is that you play as Arte. I probably butchered that name. Please correct me if I did. He is a prince going off to a new land in hopes and search for a cure for this new plague that's getting everyone, including his own mother, who is dying, and she's in constant pain. She's suffering. And so when he goes to this new land, there's it's handled by natives and colonials, and you have this whole war going on between these different factions going on. At the same time, you have like these beasts invading as well, and there's like this conspiracy theory of this prince's father's doing something. There's a lot going on in this game. There's a lot.
I haven't seen it from the very beginning, but I'm curious, what made them think that the cure is on this island?
It's just hopes, really. It's just really about hopes. Their hope is really just the mother telling the son to go and do your dreams, and there's hope of finding a cure.
So he combined both of that.
So that's the general plot synopsis. I didn't complete the full story. I have my reasons for it. But what did you think of the game's story? What is the goods? What did you like about it?
I liked that based off of what choices you make when it comes to missions and said story can actually change how other NPCs interact with you, who can be in your party. Just overall, I like how things are, what you do and how you are affects the world around you. And I really love that they pay attention to all those little details.
Yeah, that gives the game replay value, which is always something to have in your games. For me, the story is good. I like the characters. They do have personality, especially Constantine, the new governor of the island. He is like brimming with personality, and I love it. And Arte, he also has personality, and based on your choices will change that personality. So, yeah, I like the characters. I think so. The strongest point of the writing is the characters. However, the problem is the story itself. While there is interesting lore and a good foundation, the problem is how it's presented can make it come across a bit boring. Because everyone just talks. There's no visual storytelling. It's just talk. This is a video game. This should be like a combination of dialogue and visual storytelling, not just one way.
Yeah, I mean, they could at least, like, when he talks about something that happened in the past, give us some form of, like, a cloud visual to get, like, the indication of, like, something in the past, but actually see what the person's talking about.
Yeah, and that could just be, like, 2D art. It doesn't have to be 3D. It can be, like, this very breathtaking 2D art. It could just been that. And I think I've been satisfied. I would have been satisfied with that actually, but no. So instead, all you do is go through these like this dialogue tree where you just tell me more about this, tell me more about that, tell me this, tell me that. It just goes on and on, just drags out reverse shots of these characters, and I just found myself just skipping the dialogue entirely because I was getting so bored and it was tedious. Which is, again, is a shame because the foundation they have is really interesting. It's just the way they presented the story is not so interesting.
Well, yeah, also, too, by visually showing it, that cuts off some of the needing to write detail to shorten what they're saying.
Yeah, and even some of the extra stuff that you find, like notes and stuff, aren't very, presented interesting. You know how, like, in Resident Evil 2, how you can see how people draw, like, they're desperate or something, how... Matter of fact, each handwriting was different from the last person. And so, as time goes on, you can see that they're getting more desperate, it's more scribbled, getting more immersed into the game. Now, if you can't read it, you can press a button that will, fix all the text in normal text, and, you can read just fine. But they don't do that. They just have the text pop up as, a gray background that's slightly transparent and white text. It's not very immersive. It's not very presented interesting, It's really just boring.
Yeah. I mean, like, if they had it where, like, when you pick up different pieces of paper on the floor, you actually see that the pieces look different. And you would see that it's also too, like, back then, was the typewriter a thing?
I don't think it was. No, they only had, like, pins, those feathers and pins. I believe they only had that.
So a lot of things visually we should be seeing would be written in pen. But for, like what you said before, they could just push a button and then they could see it all,
Yeah, like there's and plus the text is not on like any interesting papers that might have been torn up a bit,
or burned, or mud, or torn.
Yeah, something like that.
Anything.
Yes,
or even scribbles of like if there's like a paper warning you of something. I mean, you would think that the person would have so much space at the bottom of the paper, they would probably try to do like a fast little sketch of like big shadowy thing with club or something, and you're this tiny. Like, run.
Yeah, I know.
Something.
Yeah, and plus at times the dialogue, it has like ... as in something happened that made it cut off. They could have visually have shown that, and it would be less, annoyance. Because it feels like they just got lazy and just didn't, feel like typing out more. Yes, if you read these, they can give you hints. Like, oh, this boss, we did research on it. If you hit with poison, it will weaken it tremendously. The overall presentation of the story is not good. The characters are good enough to keep me invested into the story, but since the dialogue is so heavy-handed, I didn't really have much drive to actually finish the game. I do plan on finishing the game to see how the endings are, but as of right now, knowing what I'm in for, it doesn't give me much drive to do so.
Oh, also, too, there was one thing I have to say when it comes to missions. There's a thing that I noticed. When it started off as a main story mission for you, when it came to helping up the princess with the horns.
Yeah.
But when you got to a certain point in the story, it branched off and became a side thing.
Yeah, that was weird.
But that does happen in MMOs. But the thing is that the gripe that I know that me and you had when I was watching you play was you wanted to finish that story. You wanted to help the princess find her mother. But every time he looked at his log, it said, interact with the princess. He does. And the princess goes, oh, you're too busy with missions. Come back later when you're not, so full of missions. But the thing is that he kept doing all the missions that, on his list, and he kept coming back to her every single time, and she kept repeating the same thing. So our gripe was, if somebody wants to do a side mission, you should give them the idea of, there's like a hidden checklist that, oh, you need to beat this mission, or you needed to experience said missions. You need to have that down so that way people know, okay, I want to do this side mission. I need to do these checklists first, and then it'll open up.
Yeah, that's another crutch on this game's side stories, because these side missions have stories of their own. By doing that, it does not give that side mission any sense of urgency. Like her mother, as I'm aware from the story, is that they're torturing her, they're beating her because she's the queen of this tribe. And the fact that it's like, oh, you can come back and do it whenever you want because you're too busy with all this other things, makes you feel like there's no urgency to that side mission. And so I was like, oh, you know what? Fine, your mother could just stay in there and be tortured for the next 50 hours while I go run around and complete all these chores for my governor.
They somehow made it worse than Link when it came to Legends of
Oh
Zelda.
my god. Like
Wild.
she's dying, like, oh, help me, Link. Oh, hold on, I'll help you after I catch this fish.
I know.
And it's just like, you know, urgency is just gone. It's just like you can dinkle around and hop between missions. Even the main mission, it does eventually split off where you can focus on the plague or on the family conspiracy theory. By doing that, again, kills urgency because this plague is killing people. So cannot plague wait while I go fix out this family problem? Like, it's just, I feel like they should have waited on, they should have, so that mission, those story missions within the plague mission, having them be connected. Maybe there is later on in the game, I wouldn't know. If there is, please correct me. Or I might put that little update in the comment section. But I feel like if I separate it like that, it kills urgency for both missions.
I feel like the moment that the princess's mission, you know, like the moment it stopped being the main story and it branched off to be a side mission, let the people do the side mission if they want to. Let them see, let them, like, if they already got invested liking the princess and, you know, wanting to be there for her people. And, you know, your character, you know, goes through a lot of stuff. But by the way you play, you know, the experiences and stuff you experience, you get dedicated into characters. And the fact that you put these invisible walls that don't tell people what to do to be able to do said thing that should be urgent, I mean, you need to give people a list on what they need to do, and let people do side missions when they're invested into doing side missions.
Yeah, because doing the side missions allows you to understand more of the character.
Yeah, and more of the lore.
Yeah, so by doing that, you just, you know, I don't know when I can do that side mission to the point I'm thinking about just giving up on the side mission entirely, not learn more about her. Which kind of sucks because I do like her character. You know, she doesn't give crap. Well, she gives crap to a lot of people, depends on who it is, but she doesn't take crap from people.
Yes.
I like that. She's a very snippy character, but they don't go too much with it to make her unlikable. Yeah. So I like her, and you know, it's just a shame that I can't do her side mission because they did this weird requirement that I don't know.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
So we discussed a bit about the story and a little bit of the character. So far we agreed that we like the princess. What about the main character? I think we already stated the main character had personality, yes, as well as Constantine. There is another character that comes with me constantly. He's like a pirate sailor guy.
The one with the tattoos?
Yeah, I like his character for the most part. It's just his dialogue is so repetitive. Which, that will come to technicality flaws later in this review. But I just want to say, I want to like his character, but he only has one line in every battle. Put a little poison on the blade. Let's go! He can say that for 6 times in one fight, and that makes him unlike him. I don't like him because of that.
Actually, in all honesty, from every single fight that I was watching you do, every character has one-liners.
Yeah, but his is the worst.
Yeah, because he's the one that is the loudest.
He's the loudest, and at least the princess, she says it quietly. We're like, whatever.
Yeah,
but him, he goes, a little poison on the blade. Let's go. He's like, multiply that by 10 in one fight.
It's more worse than Dragon's Dogma. When you hear them say "Hoppy," or when you go to near any enemy and you have your pawns freaking shouting everything in the middle of you hitting it.
Yeah,
you know, it's that bad.
Yeah, I think this is a good segue into the combat now. So we can talk about the combat, which I mostly played, but you watched it.
Yeah, it looked smooth. It looked good. Everything made sense. Like I just said, like everything would be really good about it. Just give them more than one-liners.
Yeah, one-line. Yeah. I like the combat for the most part. There is a bit of, it's simple. It doesn't do anything new to break the ground. So if you're looking for something innovative and crazy, this is not the game for that. But if you want a game that offers you solid combat mechanics that have at least some layers of strategy to them, then yeah, this is the game. I like the fact that enemies have armor pieces, so that makes you value, what do I value more? Damage or piercing through their armor first.
Which you can break.
Yeah, which you can break and do some real major damage. Do you want to invest into this magic ring attacks? Do you want to invest into spells? Do you want to fasten your feet?
Or be like a tank.
Or be like a tank. So there's, different play styles, and I like that, and how they have the tree things that for that is very self-explanatory. You go this way.
The skill tree.
Yeah, skill tree. Yeah, that's what I meant. Skill tree is very self-explanatory when it comes to that. Matter of fact, the skill tree is easy to understand.
I must say about the skill tree, the way it looks, just physically looks, and how it's laid out, and how you can pick your different play styles, and that you need to play as this or this, and then they have two conjoining trees to even make a half-breed of two type of fighting styles.
Yeah.
And that you can mix and match these things. I absolutely love the idea, and I love visually how it looks and how simple yet effective it is.
Yeah, and
the descriptions behind every single thing is well done.
Yeah, that's the skill trees. I don't really play RPGs much. That's a given fact. I play like light RPGs, maybe like Spider-Man. That's like light RPG elements in it.
I've played plenty of
RPGs. Yeah, she plays plenty more. So if she says it's good, then it's good. Even for me, as a kind of a bit of a scrub to RPGs, I will say it's good. It's easy on newcomers. That's what I like.
Yeah, sure.
If you're looking for like something more advanced, maybe like, I don't know, Skyrim, I guess. I never played Skyrim. Does that have like a very crazy skill tree or something? Or am I thinking like Final Fantasy 15? Oh no, 14.
No, 14 doesn't have a crazy over the top skill tree. It doesn't have that in this one. It's in the Final Fantasies that is like single player, not MMOs.
Oh, okay then.
Where they have the big crazy.
All right then.
And I think.
So if you were intimidated by those skill trees, then this one will be easier on you, which I like. Again, I like that. So, but there is one thing I don't like about the skill tree, that I feel like at times some things is a little overdone.
Ooh.
Like for example, like you can explore this world, which I will quickly say it looks good. It looks good. We'll get more into the graphics later. When you explore this world, you can find certain areas like a little like tiny little beam that you can bounce across to get to a new area, or put your body through a small crevice to sneak around, or jump across the small little gap. You think in regular RPGs that you can just simply just do it,
Yeah, you just push a button and you do it.
And here, no, he's like, oh, I'm not ready for that. You fight giant monsters, run across this entire huge semi-open world with unlimited stamina, but jumping over a small little gap or bouncing on a beam that doesn't go very far, that's too much.
That recalls a skill.
Yeah,
you need to have a skill point and put your skill point in the skill to jump.
Yeah, to jump, to balance. I feel like that's a little over. Because in one of the missions I go through is like to rescue these people who are held captive. I was told like, oh, you don't have to, kill them. You can, kill all the guards and stuff to get to them. You can sneak in through like this little crevice and save them that way. So I tried doing that, and I couldn't. That's when I realized I couldn't, because I don't have a single skill point set into that at all. And I was like, okay. But even still, then I was able to sneak in because the AI is not smart. They are not like their clones. It must be very limited, or they just were not programmed very well. Because I was able to sneak in, sneak out, almost undetected still. Which, okay, that should bring me into another thing now. Is that I do like the fact that missions have different ways of handling them. Mm-hmm. That stealth is an option, but honestly, it's a joke. I don't bother with it. It's very light stealth to the point, like, what's the point of this? It feels like it's there because other games have it. Like Spider-Man, it's like, oh, that's an open world game, that has stealth, so our game needs stealth in it, even though it's completely unwarranted. But I do like the fact that certain, terrain to be fixed. If, like, say, like this little wheel that you can turn to open up a gate is busted, you can take that and fix it. Mm-hmm. Or you can find a different path, maybe bust down a wall and go through that way. But each side has their pros and cons to them.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. It gives the game replay value to go back and say, oh, what happens if I do it this way? What did I find? I mean, yeah. So I thought that's really cool. But yeah, let's go into the open world itself now. Now, in the gameplay, there's a lot of backtracking, but there is fast travel. So that's that's nice. You're not completely running 20 hours to somewhere and back.
Yes.
And each time you fast travel, you go to like this little merchant area. You can buy stuff in between while the level is loading. And I thought that was pretty nice. There's plenty of fast travel, so you're not it's not just like Dragon's Dogma, for example, where you are literally have to run everywhere. That's what it's called. There is fast travel in that game, but those crystals cost way too much. There's like these little crystals that lets you fast travel. But here, the fast travel is cheap, and plus everything is not too far away where it's like, oh, God.
Well, it's kind of like, if I remember right, kind of like a Dark Souls thing, where it's like, you gotta run to the next flame to be able to fast travel to it. So it's like, you have to physically be there first. And then once you get to said destination to fast travel, you could always travel to your previous place.
And
so that's basically how the rules
also,
work.
another thing is your character has unlimited stamina. So that's great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Your character's not running like 2 feet. He gets tired, goes, and the characters pat them on the back. You're like, all right, let's go again. Go another like 2 centimeters and you're tired again.
Dear God.
Yeah, so I like that. And also, this open world does have a good amount of things to find. Like we already mentioned, the notes that you can find around.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing to find was the skill totems, where if you find them, you get 1 extra point of skill to put in your whatever skill selection you want.
Which I absolutely think that's a wonderful idea, especially since they have you needing to put points in jump and being able to cross a beam.
Yeah, you can find
all those stuff. So it's like
you can find like secret bosses. You can find towns, merchants, more fast travel. So there is reasons to explore this world. And since it's overall good looking, it's pleasant. I would say exploring the world is pleasant.
Oh, also, I want to put in, as speaking of the world, when you look at the map of the places that you are,
the map.
I gotta say, the team or whoever who made the maps, when you look at them, is so beautifully detailed. You see the top of roofs of buildings. You see where dirt turns into rubble, turns into grass. You see the way that they have things even shaded, giving depth, that there's layers to the map that you're looking at. It's so beautifully detailed.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was really cool. We don't really see that much in RPGs these days. It's mostly just a flat map that shows you where you are. Here, they actually give you a good amount of detail to work with, and I like that. I thought that was
beautifully done.
Beautiful. So that's great. I love that. I love the little extra detail they added. Speaking of beautiful things, let's just get jumped into the graphics now. Okay. Graphically, the game looks good. It's not as impressive as other AAA games. It's not as good looking as Spider-Man is. That game is gorgeous. But here, with a small team that they have and their more restricted budget they have, they did an overall good job.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're less than 100 people. They could be easily between 40 to 100 people. I would say every single person that is working on that team is talented. Whew.
Yeah, and I believe I remember correct. There was daytime, nighttime transitions, if I remember correctly. And that was also a nice little detail because you don't see that much in open world games.
Yeah.
So I like that they added that. And the overall world, the aesthetics, I love the aesthetic. I think we mentioned this in the beginning, is that the world looks unique because it's set in the colonial times. So the characters have like these really cool designs to them. It's just a cool looking game. I like it.
So then let's talk about how about their clothing design and the weapons and stuff.
Okay, the weapons, I will admit, they're nothing special. They don't look that cool. They really don't. They're very standard.
What weapons can you use?
You can use swords, axe, a magic ring, guns. But okay, there is one thing I would like to mention about that. You can add more to your weapons, like a handle to the sword, maybe to parry better. You can add more equipment load to the guns, make them shoot faster. That right there, crafting, allows you to change how your weapons look, as well boosts the stats of it. I like that. It gives you more reason to explore the world and kill enemies.
Oh, okay. So you can basically customize your weapons for your fighting style.
Yeah, and admittedly, while it changes, very little of it, it's not going to, make you go, oh my god, this looks amazing. It's just, oh, okay. And the characters, while the designs of, the NPCs look cool, and your character overall looks fine, it's just the other armor pieces you can get look ridiculous. I do not care if the stats are higher. They make my character look dumb and silly. I'm not wearing it.
So then you would say they would have to have a glamour system.
A glamour, and at least mix up the colors a bit, something a bit more.
Well, glamour basically is like for example, using DC Universe Online, where you have your character's armor for their stats, but what people actually see and what you see would be on the glamour page, where you can put whatever you want. People, So that way you have your stats, you could be the highest that you can be, but you don't have to look at that horrible outfit. So they would probably have to implement something like that. Because people do love customizing not only their character, but like how they dress. And some people, like myself, I love also glamoring up my NPCs, make us all bosses and go for our adventure.
Yeah, so I'd say that's probably my one problem with the designs is the armors you can get can look silly. I get it's based on the colonial times, but this is a fantasy world. You can do a lot more with it. So
yeah, you could play with it a little more.
Yeah, you play with it a little bit more. Now, so here's...
But there was one thing we have to mention. There was a visual glitch bug that went on with one of the outfits you ended up getting. Yeah,
like for some reason the cloth of it, like the textures were stretching and changing, popping in and out. It was like, what in the world's going on?
So imagine like if he was wearing a jacket and there was a belt, tying the waist part tight to him, but the cloth part behind him, it looked like if there was patterns underneath the brown coat popping in and out of reality, but it was doing it so fast that it was flashing.
Yeah,
and that actually, that needs to be fixed because that can give people headaches and problems. So visual glitches that causes flashing really needs to be fixed.
And I guess this is where we can talk about the downfall of having a small team when it comes to graphical capabilities. We mentioned that, the cloth textures glitching out, but it did fix itself eventually. It did.
Yeah.
But with this being a smaller budget game, they're going to have to cut corners, and some areas looked repeated, copy and pasted.
Oh, yes.
When you go to the mansion, like the kingdom, the governors, whoever, when you go there, all they did is literally copy and paste it, but change the colors a bit.
So imagine go in one big fancy building. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere, and it's like come on, at least, change some of the architecture. At least...
they could have, with some buildings, they could have made a mirror version of itself. In other ones, I would say they need to, do change it up a bit. Or if it's a backstory, at least give this is the art style from our ancestors and our famous blah, blah, blah. So this is our style. Give a certain reason, because other than that, it just does kind of feel like you're copying and pasting and cutting corners, which is understandable, but then at the same time, it does... Stuff like this will be distracting. Like, 1 minute a person could be totally in the story, and the next minute they'll be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't really want people to suddenly get knocked out of that immersion.
Yeah, you don't want that. And also, some NPCs are copy and pasted all over the place.
Oh.
Yeah, which I can understand because they're a low budget. They don't have a big team, like Rockstar, for example, where they can completely recreate Los Angeles, have every NPC be completely unique and different. They're not that big. So it's a double A game. That's what I'm going to say. It's a double A game. And for the most part, again, they did a good job of it graphically. It's just that you can tell there are cut corners, which will take you out of the game a bit, but not terribly much. And so, in the character models, though, I say is another problem. They look a bit rough. I saw the jaws going through their own coats and some sharp edges on their faces and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like that's like the only area where they didn't get much detail into. I mean, yeah, when you're in the actual open world itself and running around, you won't notice that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to those cutscenes, you're going to really notice that. It's super distracting.
Yeah. Oh, also too, now that I think about it, when you go into your main menu thing where you see all three of your characters, I find it so funny because all three of his characters' heads are moving exactly the same way and looking in the same direction at the same time. It is just like so distracting seeing everybody to the left, forward, to the left.
Simon says, look to the left. Simon says, look to the right. And
it's like the can with their heads.
I know it's yeah. That time you could tell they just copy. No, they probably just copy and paste the same animations. Which honestly, I feel is another negative on the game is that the characters don't really, when it comes to the idle stance, they don't have a unique animation to themselves.
No individual personality.
Yeah, so that was another flaw to the game. And there was another visual glitch where my axe handle was invisible, but the blade itself was visible still. So it's like, hello, stranger. Would you like this new invisible axe? They won't be able to see it at all, except for the blade. That's the only part they'll see, but for the most part, completely invisible. It's like,
I wish that thing actually was stretchable and just be like, you don't know how long my handle is because it's invisible.
Yeah, I know. That would be kind of cool, but... Yeah, so it's rough around the edges when it comes to graphics and, character models. But other than that, the game looks great.
For such a small team, I say bravo.
Yeah.
Like overall, I would say, like, the game from what I've seen is beautiful. It's going in the right direction. It just feels like when things are being cut, corners are being cut, they are noticeable.
Yeah. So
that is a gamble that you guys would have to take on. People may like it or may not like it because of the cuts. So.
Yeah. So that's always a gamble to run with. So overall, let's put our final thoughts on the table. I'll go first. GreedFall is a good game. I like it. I can recommend it to my other friends who are into RPGs and maybe want something fresh. Mm-hmm. The overall story itself has a good foundation, but the way it's presented, it's not very interesting. And the characters are likable enough that you want to play through, see how their character arcs go through and how they progress as people. So I feel that's the strong suit of the writing. And the combat is very serviceable. It's nothing crazy, nothing new, but serviceable. It works. It's fun. It's fluent. And the skill tree is nothing, headache-inducing.
I absolutely love the artistic approach on certain things that they did, like I said. The skill tree looks beautiful. The mapping looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Certain details artistically is like the artist team.
Yeah, the artist.
Beautiful work.
Oh, real quick, actually, before I forget, I can't believe this slipped my mind because this is actually one of the game's highlights.
What?
The boss fights are actually really good. Like the designs of the bosses feel like they came from Bloodborne. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they were a little inspired by Bloodborne there, because their bodies are contorted. They have like octopus faces, and stuff like that. It's
they got that influence from Cthulhu.
Possibly, maybe, who knows? Most likely, but. Yeah, the boss fights, I have to say, that's another highlight with the combat. Each boss fight has, like, their own weaknesses, and, they're very tough. You have to prepare yourself. So that's another highlight I'm going to put in my, my summary here. Graphically, the game looks good for a small team. Kudos to them.
Yes.
But it's rough around the edges, and the copy and paste takes me out of the experience a bit. And the skill tree in some areas a little over-designed, I would say, with the whole... need to be able to learn to jump, balance, and crawl through like a small little cave. So overall, my rating for the game would be a 7 out of 10. I think that's fair. A 7 out of 10 is good.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's your overall thoughts on the game?
Great idea. Great foundation. Just certain things to execute. It needs to be tweaked, and once things I think are more ironed out, it should be absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, honestly, with a sequel, I truly believe with a sequel, they can knock it out of the park. They have the foundation. All they do is just launch off that foundation and truly just blow people's mind with it.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for joining us for this session. We will now be moving on to the Terminator game that's coming out in December 3rd. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for this little reaction here. We're going to watch this thing all the way through first, then give our thoughts of how we feel about this upcoming Terminator game. Right now, my expectations are set down very low. How about you, Dove?
From what you told me, other people's reactions, and what game they've made before this one, I know a lot of people are kind of biting their nails and worried.
Yeah,
so that kind of has me going in cautious.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe this announcement trailer will change our perspective on that. So let's give it a shot. We might talk over a little of it because we don't want to deal with copyright.
I wonder what
Taiwan, same people who made Rambo.
I wonder what they mean.
Los Angeles. So this, I believe this game takes after. It's not set in the past with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is during the full-on fight now. There's no time travel.
So this is after part 3?
I think so. Yes. The War Against the Machines.
So are we going to see Sean Connery?
I don't think so. No. And
But isn't he supposed to be the leader?
yeah, but I guess maybe movie copyright. So, okay. Already here, that's from Terminator 2, for example. That truck is from Terminator 2. Graphically, from their last game, Rambo, it does look better so far. And, cinematically wise, it does look good. But, as you can see here, this feels a bit unreal-y. Does that make sense?
A group of people that Skynet marked for
Ooh,
termination.
her face.
The
Yeah, like
model
here.
looks like it needs to be fixed.
Fight for Mankind. Coolio.
Want you to take a team of my soldiers.
Yeah, the camera, perfectly follows by.
Is this all cinematic, or do you not have
There is-
control over your character's movements? Like, is it carrying you from point A to point B,
Yeah,
or
because-
are you moving yourself?
See, that's kind of part of the thing to decipher, because a lot of the movements that we just saw there looks, a bit unrealish, but at the same time, some of it does look, like player movement, like the player's doing it. Oh, by the way, this is an awesome cover art right there. I love that. Let's see if we can get a bigger shot of that. If my laptop doesn't want to, there we go. I love this cover art. I don't know about you, but I love it.
Is there a picture that we can get that's bigger to take a even better look?
Let me check that up real quick. Let me see. Alright, I'm opening a new tab. Terminator What the hell? Resistance cover art. Let's see if we can find a good size. I'm still not sure why it has you logged in. Here we go. That's a good size one right there. We'll have to enlarge that. I don't know if we've been talking about the game, but the cover art's really cool. I think that's probably one of the better Terminator cover arts I've ever seen. Right next to T2, anyways. If it will load. Dang, we don't get the full shot. Okay, let's try this one. Alright, let's just. So we can just click on the full picture here. You know what? Second thought, no. We'll just have to work with what we got. We'll have to work with what we got here. So, I like this picture. I really do.
If you click on it, will it enlarge it?
No, that'll just take me to the website, Metra, whoever these people are. Like to their.
If you right click on it, is there a open up just the image?
No. I can zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in real quick. That's as good as we're gonna get.
So it looks like a guy holding a girl's mouth, and she's holding it as well, probably to have her not scream in absolute terror.
And if you notice, that's the same guy who got hit by a truck. So by the looks of it, he's not the villain of the story.
No.
He might be trying to save the people who are being terminated, which the story is about, but people are being targeted by these Terminators. But I still love this image because it makes that Terminator very threatening looking. It makes you very ominous.
I like that he's wearing what looks like a jacket.
Yeah, Terminator 2. It looks like maybe there would be some moments where Terminators would disguise themselves as humans and they're infiltrating the base.
Well. Okay, if I remember Terminator 2 right, or one of the Terminators, didn't he tell him that he was the Terminator that killed the John Connor main character, if I remember right?
Actually, when I'm clicking the picture here, it actually takes me to this little website that tells you the publication website right here. Oh my gosh, if they don't blow it up with ads. The new Terminator Resistance video game is only based on the first 2 films, so there's a good chance that we may see, maybe, I'm not going to scratch a good chance, we may see Arnie, or maybe an homage to Arnie or an Easter egg to him. But I wouldn't, hold your breath to see Arnie back in the Terminator, since he's doing Terminator Dark Fate.
Oh, I would love
that would
see.
That would be a great little secret boss you can find. That would be awesome. Or you can play as him. Either one's great.
I would love to see Sean Connor's mother. Oh, what was her name? She's
Sarah Connors.
Yes, she is such a badass, cool character.
She's awesome. I actually wish we could play as the Terminator characters, even John Connor himself. The kid, not the kid, John Connor, Sarah Connor, Arnie, those characters playing them not be such fan service. But other than that, let's focus back on this cover art here. This is just really awesome. If they print this out as a poster, I think I would buy it.
Yeah.
Because that is just, whoever designed this poster deserves a pay raise. They really do.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
Beautiful.
Very
well. It captures everything.
Better than their Rambo cover art. Jesus Christ. Actually, let me look that up real quick. That was just terrible. I know we're supposed to be talking about the trailer here, but honestly, I think the cover art's more interesting.
Well, from what I've seen, they're trying to catch the mood and everything. So you do see that they are putting a lot of effort. The only thing that I could say, though, is when you saw that human woman's face, she looked too plasticky, too shiny. She didn't, the face model did not look right on the character.
Here's this is the Resistance Terminator cover. This is a major step up from their last cover art for Rambo, where it's just a collage of him, explosions. It's very just generic. Yeah.
Well, also too, if you notice, they're taking actual pictures from
the
movie instead of what they actually have in game. Because if they did that, people would not pick this up.
Even the Terminator Resistance, that's all drawn. That's not from the game. They draw that, which honestly I prefer drawn cover art because that's way more unique to look at than simply just taking pictures of a rendered 3D model, not really doing much. I mean, it's kind of like with Marvel Spider-Man, for example. All they did was just took the 3D model, made him, move him in a slightly different angle, just put a red background, call it good.
I mean, I feel like the red background was freaking cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap, but
they could have put a beautiful background of him leaping between tall buildings and you could see the landscape of New York leading to the ocean.
That's actually what the other cover art on the back is, which is really cool, and I wish they used that.
Yeah,
but we're getting a bit off topic here. Let's actually focus on the trailer here, and let's go through it, one by one, slowly. So, all right, so we have the Peggy rating, which we will be talking later on this podcast. Not Peggy rating, ESRB. Mm-hmm. Reef Entertainment and Tyron. Oh my gosh. These blokes. Like we said, they made the Rambo video game, and that was not good. That was really bad. It looked very cheap. It was an on-rail shooter, and that's why people are very skeptical about this one. And it just ripped out the movie's audio, and just used it as their audio, and it was very cheap. By the looks of it, when we look at the trailer, though, they've drastically improved from the last game, because the game actually does look a bit. Let's just mute this and just. Yeah, some of these parts actually look good for the most part. Not PS4 worthy, but I would say maybe midlife of PS3 or Xbox 360. I say that's fair, right? That's fair. I mean, this shot's fun.
Yeah, it looks like something you would see on Xbox 360.
Yeah, Xbox 360, PS3. I mean, it's not a horrible looking game, but it's
definitely definitely a step up from
Rambo.
The actual proportions of their characters' bodies are way more better and believable than Rambo.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely they need to fix on facial
Yeah, we're about to
on,
come
on the face.
Yeah, see,
like
right.
when it comes to the robots and stuff like that, they look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the robots look very well
it's
done.
the humans that I'm having problems with. Even like the shine in the water and stuff like that in the background. Well done.
Yeah, it is.
Well
Like,
done.
but I looked at they actually had a budget. Last game they made no, they didn't have a budget. So this guy, by the looks of it, we were decided that he's a good guy. Actually, he's here to protect us because he's covering out one woman.
Ooh, but wait. Rewind that. Before he hits, what is he ramming into? Because if you notice, after the ramming, you're going to see sparks. Was he a robot?
Let me see here. Let's put the playback speed down by a lot, and let's
pay attention. Okay, he gets hit. Keep watching, and then he gets pushed, and then you're going to start seeing some sparks. See?
Yeah. Okay.
See?
So yes, he is probably a Terminator.
Ah.
So this is supposed to be a major plot twist. This is probably not a good area to spoil that. Maybe it's not supposed to be a plot twist. It's just supposed to be like a nice little reveal. But good catch though.
Or the spark could be coming from what's in the truck and not the guy.
But considering this guy is superhuman, he stopped the truck, and the fact that he comes out of it just.
So then I wonder if he's Arnie.
That actually would be a good, nice reveal. They did. It's like, hey, I can't do the voice, but. But the Arnie, that would be awesome if it was Arnie, but they need to work on the voice then. Get to that chopper.
I mean, there are a lot of good people that could do his voice on YouTube if they can't get the real Arnie.
I know, that'd be... Okay. Her face... Let me see if I can rewind a bit here.
Okay, like, when I look at her, doesn't she kind of look like... Oh, God.
Ooh, yeah, they need to work on that. I mean, again, it's still a step up from their last game, Rambo, but... Mm-hmm. This, however,
her skin does not look right at all. She looks plastic.
Yeah, that's kind of the plot. Last game, everyone was covered in sweat, so they looked like they had moist skin, like sponge skin. Here, they look a bit plastic, so...
Yeah, and soulless eyes. There's, like, no light reflecting into the eyes. It just looks dead. There's certain things that I feel like if the character got a touch-up more better, like, do this with all the humans... Yeah, it would look really great.
Yeah, it would look great. I agree. It would look better, but they still have time. It comes out in December, so they have a couple of months to fix some things up. But the thing is that people are most concerned about is the gameplay, which we do have a couple of moments that we do see a bit of gameplay here and there. Like right here, he's running. But the thing is that he's running smoothly, you know?
Running straight.
Yeah, running straight.
And this, you're.
This might just be a cinematic.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, are we being? Are
we
right
shown
here more?
Yeah, like here, it's hard to tell. It really is because he's running through. He's looks like he's sidestepping here and there. It's hard to tell what is. Yeah, he's sidestepping right here. So maybe you are. But thinking he's just standing still. Like, no, shouldn't he be behind cover or something? It's hard to tell. It really is. Like, I hope this game allows freedom of movement and not just on rail. But you know, hey, it's.
I'm wondering if it's gonna be kind of like a crossbreed, like it guides you forward, but then it stops you, and then when it stops you, you have free reign to move around until you kill all the enemies, and then the camera makes you go forward.
No, people wouldn't like that. That's too strict. They want to be able to, run around and explore whenever the heck they want. Not all games are explorative. I feel like this game's not going to be very explorative. It feels very linear and on the rails. But, people would rather go at their own pace, not just feel like they're just being, guided to the next shoot up area, because that's not very exciting.
Well, that's if you don't mind like arcade style games, where you have those arcades that you put coins in. And
honestly, speaking of arcades, if this was an arcade game, like an actual on-rail shooter, and they put this in the arcade cabinets, whatever they're called nowadays, I think I would play this. This actually
with a fake gun and stuff like that.
Yeah, this actually to me would be a huge hit if it was an arcade cabinet.
You know what?
That would be awesome because with this graphics or the own original story, I feel like that would be really cool. Now I know that it costs a lot of money to make actual video games with this high graphics caliber. Okay, not high graphics, more like mid graphics. I'm going to say mid graphics.
Well, compared to their graphics from their game before this one. It is a gigantic leap, and I applaud them for that.
Yeah, so, honestly, but if the game doesn't cost too much, if it's like maybe like, say, 10 to 20 bucks, even 30, I think it'd be fine. Like, I'll just let them know, like, hey, this is more of an on-the-rail shooter up front. This is an on-rail shooter. Just come in for the story and just, classic arcade shooting that you play with your pals or play by yourself. Because, Dead Space Extraction, one of my favorite Wii games, is an on-rail shooter. But the game's pretty dang good.
A question came to mind.
What?
How would you feel if they combined VR and on-rail shooters?
Honestly, that would be the best thing, because most VR shooters, they just have you, stand still, pick a point, teleport to that area. It's not very exciting. If it was on-the-rail shooter like this, and it was VR, if the game was advertising itself as a Terminator VR Resistance, I don't think anyone would complain that this is on-the-rail shooting. That's actually the best way to handle it.
Yeah, because then you'd be able to duck, you'd be able to look around, you'd have more, more interaction when you're stuck in a place. But then when it moves you forward, you could still look around and make
honestly,
sure you're not in a bad position.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. I think they should go for that. Change it real quick. Say, oh, hey, we're changing our business here. We're gonna say it's Terminator VR Resistance or Terminator Resistance VR. I'm not sure, or Terminator V Resistance. The R is for the VR Resistance, whatever. But yeah, Terminator Virtual Resistance, I think, is the best way to go with it. So yeah, this would be a killer if that was the case. I mean, yeah, the story might still suck, because Terminator movies, story-wise, have not been good. But this, I think people will really just want the gameplay. Maybe some fan service of Arnie and Sarah Connors and John Connor.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, so honestly, Tyrone, however the hell you pronounce their name, I think they can have something good here if they go in the right direction. But thinking you can say that for any game, but this has me not excited, but has a little hope that this game may be enjoyable.
It may be better than what people were thinking it was going to, but we don't know if it's going to be outstanding.
Yeah, we don't know that. I love reading the comments sometimes. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. So there are only two guns, the purple pew-pew gun and the RPG. You know what? That's fair enough. From the authors of Rambo the video game. Now I'm afraid.
Aw, with tears.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes reading the comments of these videos are just hilarious. I love it.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the character sarcastically saying, having fun yet. The future of war in Terminator 1 and 2 was very bleak and desperate with absolutely no room for humor. That is actually true, too, as well. Because those movies were very bleak despite its very sci-fi setting. The same people making this made Rambo the video game one of the worst games ever made. Wait for the reviews before you get this. That is a fair assessment. A lot of the comments are saying Rambo the people who made Rambo the video game is making this. So keep your expectations down low, which I'm doing, so that way if it does surprise me, I'll give it some props there. So final thoughts, Dove, what do you think?
Well, I'm hopeful for them. It looks like they did improve on certain things. Let's hope they improved in all categories, not just some here and there. And if everything goes good and they make a really good name for themselves, like this becomes one of those games that gives them a good name, well, good for them. They worked hard for it.
Honestly,
but let's see if it's going to be one of those.
Yeah, and honestly, Tyrone, if you're listening to this, if you ever watch this, make this a VR game. I think that's the best way to handling this. That is the absolutely best way. Because that way you can say, oh, we lower down the graphics because if we had high quality graphics like whatever the Battlefield games are now, it wouldn't run well in the VR. And, it's just simulating shooting in the Terminator universe. I think that's the best way to handling it. But, hey, maybe we'll see that in the future when they add DLC. Do you know the Rambo the video game got DLC?
What did they add?
I have no idea. It's entirely new. I think it's an entirely new original story, which boggles my mind that game got DLC. The guns are crap, but they're sticking with it. So, alright, that was my closing thoughts on this. Catch you guys in the next section, which we're going to right now. Alright, hello. Welcome to the last section of the podcast, and I'm still your host, Christian, and I'm here with my dove still.
Hannah. Hey.
Alright, so let's get into the last section here. And apparently, there was a huge bombshell about the ESRB. This came to me from Angry Joe and Yang Yi, both very credible sources, and I trust them, 100% trust them of what they have to say about it. So, turns out, it's been revealed that the ESRB does not play the games all the way through. They don't even play the game at all. Instead, what they do is that the game publisher sends them 2 minutes of the game's worst moments, and they make their rating based off that.
Wait, back up. Who are these people again?
The SRB are the people who rate our games. You know, the ones who say, oh, the game's rated E, Teen, and M. It was created by other game companies to regulate themselves to prevent the government from intervening in regulating the game industry.
So this company is taking 2 minutes of film, not actually playing the game that they're going to be rating for the rest of us to play.
Yes. That just blows my mind, because for like the entirety of the years I've been playing my games, I always thought they at least played, a good majority of the game. At least like almost like half the game,
Yeah, that's what I would think, that they at least got like some form of gameplay where they progressed somewhat into the story, played all the mechanics that the game had to offer.
Actually, I thought it was the playtesters who were reporting back on this, because they're the ones
that
who
would make sense.
Yeah, because the playtesters, they're playing the entirety of the game anyway, so they would report back, oh yeah, there was drugs, there was nudity, there was violence, there was blood and gore, there was language, and no, it turns out that's not the case. Only 2 minutes, but the company, the game publisher, gets to pick. Yes, we're told to send their worst moments of the game, but what's considered them to be the worst? What's the worst to them?
Well, as we all know, there are certain companies that have a different idea on what would be considered bad and what would be considered good. Like, for example, loot boxes.
Oh, yeah, that's a hot topic.
Yeah, a lot of people would basically say that that is a bad, negative thing. So, let's say if gambling was in said game, but they didn't put any pictures or anything in the 2 minutes for this company that's supposed to be rating our games. So, they see what they consider bad, but not everything that's in said game gives it a rating, and then later on, people are going, wait a minute, why is this for children or for everybody when there's gambling in it?
Actually, hold on, let me pull up something real quick. Let's actually pull up the rating system real quick. SRB, I completely misspelled that. Rating system. Let's pull up the rating system real quick. Because they actually have this. The SRB, there's A, so let's actually look at this. Wikipedia is always good as ever. Okay, let's see here. Wikipedia, history, rating process. Here we go. Rating process is what we want. Nope, this is a lot of text I have to go through. Okay, let's see here. Here we go. Rating guide. Let's actually go to their website itself. Rating category. So we have our E, which is everyone, content generally suitable for all ages. Nothing, just cartoony violence. Nothing bad. E for 10 and up. Has a bit, maybe some mild things like violence and maybe one swear word like damn, like Shadow the Hedgehog, which that was completely out of place, but that's a discussion for another time. Then we have teen, which is the one that's pretty much the average nowadays. Teen, has a bit of drugs, maybe there's a bit of blood in there, maybe some language, but nothing crazy. Then we have the M, which is quite popular. Mature, it's going to have drugs, it's going to have violence, it's going to have sex, it's going to have language, blood and gore. Not always, but that tends to be, the huge selling points for people. And then we have one more after that, actually. If I can actually go to can I scroll to the side?
There's a little arrow.
Little arrow. Yep, right there. There's actually one more. A, for adults. Let's read this one. Contains suitable only for adults age 18 and up. May include prolonged scenes of intense violence, graphic sexual content, and or gambling with real currency. There is no ifs or buts about this. That loot boxes is gambling. There is no ifs or buts. And companies, they don't have to show this to the ESRB because they say, oh, it's not gambling. Then the ESRB is like, oh, this ain't gambling, even though clearly it is. There might be lobbying going on. I can't prove it. That's just purely speculation. But given by their own rating system, that the fact these loot boxes, you have to use real money for a chance to get in the reward that you want, which actually now brings me to my next thing. I'm going to point out the actual definition of gambling is right here. Playing games of chance for money, bet, or take risky actions in the hope of a desired result. So if you put money into a loot box and hoping that you get this amazing cosmetic for your gun, but you don't get it, say you get a cosmetic for a character you never use,
or a crappy item,
then you essentially wasted your money. So you have to respend your money again in order to hope to get the item you want. And they have all these flashy effects going on, getting the brain going, oh, I'm so excited. Maybe if I do it again, I get something better. And it's just ridiculous. And it's gotten so bad to the point where we have trailers like this that has literal slot machines front and center. Like, let's actually pull this up real quick. Let's pull this up. Where are you? We have this crap game, which I don't know why people keep buying this. It's the same game over and over every year. Yeah. Where are you? Where's the goods? That's not it.
Oh, that's another minigame there.
There it is. I saw it. There we go. Bam! Right there. And believe it or not, this game has a rated E, as in for children. Matter of fact, by their own system alone, if they're going to sell much of a gambling slot machine, but you can't use real money on, it gets a rated teen then. And that is ridiculous. It has the lever. It has the 3 spinning wheels. And
they're basically mocking.
Yeah, it's aping it almost one side by side. It's ridiculous. And yet, this is a rated E game. Did the 2K not send this to the ESRB?
They probably didn't consider it a bad thing.
Because you're not using real money or whatever. And this is just ridiculous. This is sure, you're not using real money.
But the rating is wrong.
The rating is completely wrong. Yes. And it's just like, how? This is a rated E game? Because if this game was rated teen, they would lose revenue. Because the parents are like, I can't have that. My kids have that because it has simulated gambling in it. And so I feel like they did not send this to the SRB, or the SRB just did not care.
And this also is really upsetting because everybody is thinking, like, when you're playing your game and your game's being rated, in the back of your mind you're thinking, testers or somebody played it, and so they know what they're talking about. And so by people finding out that they only take 2-minute clips, that the company that is making the games can pick any 2-minute clips that they consider to be bad and go off of that. I feel that is wrong. They need to be able to play the actual game.
Yeah,
and if there is anything like this, they need to give it the proper rating. More than anything, this is making the so-called company that's supposed to be rating all of this look really bad, that they're not really doing their job.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And there's more games that's like gambling, but you don't use real money on it still, but it's still simulated gambling.
But the company, by doing this, is lying basically, because they're not showing everything they should be showing, and the company that should be rating should be doing more than just 2 minutes, honestly. And like, I feel like there should be a consequence. If companies are not up in front with what they're giving to be rated, I feel like there should be a consequence for that. That they should be fined some way, shape, or form. And also, I would go as far as part of the penalty is they should pay for every copy of the game that they have, pay for the rating change.
I think they have to do that regardless, I believe. Even Rockstar, when Grand Theft Auto, which one was it? It's the one with the coffee shop minigame that was. in there, but not fully. Someone just hacked the game and just set a little check mark on the file, and you play like this mini sex scene of a coffee shop, and that was about it. So they had to recall the games, and they were telling, hey, you have to recall this game and slap an A rating. So I think they have to do it anyways, but they removed the mini game entirely, so it stayed at M rating, so they saved themselves some money there. But it's just, what boggles my mind is that they claim, that's just actually this person right here, Frey, I'm not going to pronounce that last part right here. He said, I finally got an email from the ESRB ratings and totally BS. Angry Joe, Germ Sternly, Yang Yi, they don't really care at all. Here's what he says. Hi Chris, thank you for reaching out to us regarding the rating for NBA 2K. And SRB assigns age and content rating based on the final content of a game. Seems reasonable. And the context in which it's presented to the player. Content shown in trailers does not factor into our rating assignments. ESRB stands by our rating assignment for NBA 2K, which is E for everyone, mild language, user interactions, and in-game purchases. Please get clear. More fluff. Okay, so the first part sounds reasonable because the trailers doesn't represent the final product entirely.
Yes.
It's only a portion. Sounds reasonable, but the factor is that. But the thing is, that's completely horse donkeys. The moment you find out that they've only been taking a look at 2 minutes of the game, that's it. They might as well just base it on the trailers. If that's the case.
Basically, yeah, because they're not playing the game like a tester.
Yeah, they're not.
Or like how a YouTuber they're not testing, they're not got a copy of it and push the start button and on an adventure. They're not doing that. They're getting 2 minutes of whatever random clips that the game developers want them to see. It's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, and also what's just, again, it's just mind-boggling. I'm losing my words because it's just, the whole point of the SRB is to keep the game industry regulated enough where the government won't get involved, but yet it can't even do that.
Because there's holes in the way that it's set up, and bad companies are taking full advantage of these holes.
Yeah, and it's just
in the rules.
And also, here's another thing that's caught my eye that's baffling, is that if a game has, say, microtransactions, DLCs, something like that, along those lines, is that they will slap this in-game purchases. Even if it's rated E, they'll slap that on there. That line right there, in-game purchase, is way too broad. That can be microtransactions, that can be loot boxes, that can be DLC. What is it specifically? So a game like Super Mario Odyssey can have the same, in-game purchases as well as, say, 2K, NBA, whatever it's called, as the same thing. Even if Mario says they keep theirs as DLC, theirs is microtransactions. They need to specify which is it. Is it microtransactions? Is it loot boxes? Or is it DLC? They're not doing that. So parents have no idea what this means exactly.
That's because they're trying to find different ways of wording things a certain way so they can get their money.
So yeah, it's
which is, in the long run, people are being affected by gambling problems, and it's affecting children. And these game companies, they know it, and the ones that are sleazy are the ones that are not being up in front. And we're aware of said companies that are doing this, and it is just disgusting.
I think there was actually real reports of kids spending a lot of money on loot boxes, and that's what I'm looking up right now, because there has been there's a report of a kid emptying.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, meet the 19-year-old who spent $17,000? I don't know what the rest of that says. Is that microtrans? Oh my God. Microtransactions? Jesus.
Oh my God, that's worse than the woman that I met that spent $7,000.
Come on. Scroll down, Kotaku. Gosh darn, Kotaku. Let's see, $100. Wow, okay, now it's going slow here. Jeez, really? Is this was like loot boxes, like microtransactions? Let me see here. No, Kotaku, I don't want to sign up for your thing. Leave me alone. All right. Let's see if I can find some loot box. Here we go. The debate around loot boxes and microtransactions has a tendency to focus on the feud between so-and-so, Battlefront 2. There's another one down below. Yeah, so even still then, microtransactions are a bad thing itself, but that's a discussion for another time. But right here, I'm going to take a gander that, let's see here. If I chose off $100, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get something he see a friendly. Yeah, so
10, 20 or
so yeah, that's 17,000. Let's just go say he just spent money on microtransactions themselves, if he knows what he's getting. But where is a lot of money on loot boxes? Where's the one where someone video games are unlocking child gambling? This has to be stopped. Controversy with loot boxes. Even other people are saying this is gambling. Other news reports are saying our children becoming so and so. Yeah, so the topic is very hot. And the fact there has been multiple stories. You can look it up. The first one I just pulled up shows microtransactions and loot boxes can be very bad for financial problems. It can make very bad spending habits. And if microtransactions are already bad enough, and you're like, oh, I just want to get through this fast enough, imagine what a loot box would do to your bank account.
And the fact that they do make games that where you have to rely on loot boxes, and they know what they're doing. And also, too, loot boxes, because it's a programmed thing, the companies
they can change it.
They can make it where, like, certain people can have luck, and then other people, they lower it down. They can give their own employees the greatest chances ever.
Oh yeah, like
and
this one right here.
The lowest chances ever.
Like this guy right here when he spin the, let's see, when he spin the slot machine here. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Yeah, here he's looking around. He pulls it, and oh my God, look at that excitement! This honestly, these basketball players, they should be ashamed of themselves. Honestly, they know what this is purely, and they know this game's for children. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
And also another fun fact.
Yeah, but you notice though that he freaking wins when he needs to win while he's recorded. It's all
actually though. This is all scripted because if you look at,
of course, because they can program it.
Actually, no, not even that. Because yeah, okay, they may program it, but if you look at the controller, if the gosh darn YouTube bar would just go down, please.
Yeah, if you pay attention, the controller's not even on.
Yeah, the controller's not even on. Like, it's completely
It's all acted.
It's all acted, and again, these players should be ashamed of themselves for doing this, for promoting gambling.
The paycheck.
And see, and there's more cases of like this have happened. Like other YouTubers, like what was this Rice Scum, for example? Like he was advertising this website where if he gave, where you can spend money to open up this essentially a digital loot box to unlock this item that'll be shipped to your house. When he opened, he got these very expensive shoes. Of course, he got those very expensive shoes because it was programmed for him to succeed to advertise. If he got something crap, then no one will go to it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what happens with all these trailers, casino trailer looking things. Whenever they advertise loot boxes in their trailers, they only show the goods. If a YouTuber is advertising a loot box in any games, they only show the good stuff. And the ESRB is doing nothing about this.
Nope.
The fact that their own rating system, they don't even follow their own rating system. They don't play the dang game. It's just something needs to be done about this. Mm-hmm. This is, at this rate, if this keeps going on like this, and if they keep adding more fuel to the fire like this, the government's going to get involved. And also, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want them involved. Because the moment you start giving them power like that, they're going to get more and more involved, controlling. Like, oh, this game's too violent, turn it down. Like, Doom Eternal couldn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
And so, there's something needs to be done about the ESRB. It's just mind-boggling. I hate this. I'm a huge gamer, but now I can't even trust the rating systems because they're not doing their job.
Yeah, they're basically on a foundry of lies.
It is. It's. Oh man. Gosh.
It's a giant letdown when you're taught that things are rated to protect people, so that way people like adults know what the adults can play, and parents would know and trust the ratings so their kids could be able to play something that they wouldn't have to worry about.
Honestly,
but now because of all these lies and people half-assed, not even really doing their jobs like they're supposed to, things are falling apart all around us. Bad people are taking advantage of people's not knowing of the truth. You know, it's not right, and this should not be what gaming is.
No.
You know, when video games were created, it was a form of entertainment, de-stressing, you know, people getting together and bonding, going on an adventure, having a time out. You know, it was... Playing video games was supposed to be a bunch of positive things for people that work hard and want a hobby or something to go to. They can relax and play video games. But these greedy video game companies, the suits behind the video game companies telling them to do this and that, people just being greedy, wanting more money and more money.
I know, so
it's like everybody is struggling with money, and people want to know that their money is going into good products and want to back up the good companies.
Yeah, and it's just...
And we're seeing that people's greed is just coming out, and there doesn't seem to be any type of real punishment for companies not showing the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They rather lie, manipulate, and squeeze every nickel, dime, and penny, even if it makes their company's name dragged through the mud. As long as they can get some money some way, shape, or form, they don't care. Even if it ruins families' lives or individuals' lives, as long as they get their wallet, you know, that's all they care for. And that's not what gaming should be.
And I'm going to take over here for a second. There's something just popped in my mind. Activision, they recently, this year I believe, they released Crash Bandicoot Nitro Crash. It's a remake of the original PS1 game, I believe. And that, to me, that was my childhood. I loved that game. That was a fun racing game. So when they remade, then that's they're going to remake it from the ground up. It's going to have new tacky graphics and stuff like that. I was really excited. And they promised that there was going to be no microtransactions in the game. Mm-hmm. So when the game came out, you know, the reviews were positive. Like, oh, hey, it's a fun game. You have friends, family. But after some time later, they updated the game and put microtransactions in the game.
They sneakily patched it in.
Yeah, they waited until the reviews were done, and then they put it in. It's like, what deceiving scumbags they are. That's how much you can't even trust what they say. EA, they say, oh, Star Wars, The Fallen Jedi, or whatever it's called, it won't have loot boxes in them. When the game comes out, reviews are positive. I can't even trust that now. Because the ESRB, they've already put the rating on the game, so they're not going to say, oh, it has in-game purchases. Because the moment you see that on the back, it's like, oh, that means it has microtransactions and loot boxes in it. So, the ESRB, can't trust them. And even the publishers, you can't even trust their word anymore. So, be very vigilant, everyone. Honestly, wait. When a new game comes out by a publisher that is scummy, like, say, Ubisoft, EA, Activision.
Yeah.
I would wait a month or so and see if they implement those microtransactions, loot boxes, because the ESRB is not going to do their job properly.
I do feel, though, that companies that are not open and honest and putting things later that they said that shouldn't be in it, I feel like there needs to be a punishment.
There should be, but if this keeps up, there will be. Because the government's going to eventually get involved if this keeps up.
And that's going to be bad.
That's going to be bad for everyone. So yeah, ESRB, garbage. They're garbage. Anyone who supports loot boxes, any company that does, you're garbage. So that's that.
Basically, all I could say is I would like to hear other people's opinion. What they would say, what do they think that these company that's supposed to be so-called rating our games, what do you think should happen to them? 2 minutes, obviously, of any video that the company can give them is obviously not enough.
No,
I don't feel it's enough for a rating.
No, it's not.
I don't feel that they know exactly what they're talking about, because 2 minutes of anything does not tell you everything you need to know about a game.
No, it does not tell you diddly squat. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about GreedFall? Have you checked it out for yourself? What do you think about it? What do you think of the upcoming Terminator game? Are you excited? Are you skeptical? Or are you just going to wait for people to review it? Honestly, that's the best scenario for you to do. And finally, what should be done about the ESRB and what do you wish to happen?
Yeah.
Leave your thoughts down in the comments button down below. If you'd like to hear our podcast, please check out our next one upcoming week. See you later.
See you later.